stage in our struggle of removing dictator Museveni. I want to tell you or to share some thoughts with you, comrades, about two things. In this life, there is what we call election, and there is what we call a revolutionary struggle. I repeat, there is what we call an election, and there is what we call a revolutionary struggle. So these two things can bring about change, but the way they bring change is different. An election, the difference between an election and a revolutionary struggle, an election has a that is set. For example, today we are in 2021, and we know we are going to have elections in 2026. The January 14 of 2026, we shall be having the next presidential elections. And then the 16th of January 2026, the winner shall be announced. And then the 12th of May 2026, the winner shall be sworn in. That is an election. An election has a date that is already set, has a date that on this day we shall have elections, on this day the winner shall be announced, and this day the winner shall be sworn in. That is election. Now, and on the other hand, we have what we call a revolutionary struggle. A revolutionary struggle, unlike an election, a revolutionary struggle does not have a date. A revolutionary struggle is like death. All of us here, we don't know when we are going to die. Maybe some of us will die today, others will die tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or next year, or 10 years, or 20 years, or 30 years, or how many years. Nobody knows. It's only God that knows. But we wake up every day to go to work and work hard. We want to be rich, to have wealth. We want to have businesses, various businesses, build so many houses, have a better life and the lives of our people. But we don't know when we are going to die. That is it. The revolutionary struggle can be compared to death. So, in a revolutionary struggle, you don't know when you are going to win. You don't know when you are going to achieve your goal. But all you know is that you are going to achieve it someday, but you don't know exactly when. But also, all you need to do is to put in the effort. The effort that you put in, the more effort you put in, the more determination you put in, the more commitment you put in, it drives you closer to achieving your goal. So, in Uganda, what do we have between these two? Do we have a revolutionary struggle or do we have an election? And I will tell you that in Uganda, it is not an election, it is a revolutionary struggle. Because if it was an election, I want to tell you that today, the person that would be swearing in would not be Mr. Museveni, would be Honorable Kyagulanyi. Because we all know that Honorable Kyagulanyi, won the election. If it was indeed an election in Uganda, in 2016, Museveni would not be sworn in. Museveni was not supposed to be sworn in 2016. It was supposed to be Dr. Kizza Besigye, because we all know that Dr. Kizza Besigye won the election in 2016. So, in Uganda, what we have in Uganda is not an election, even though Mr. Museveni tries to paint it as an election for him to be able to have a good name on the international stage, that there is elections in Uganda, there is democracy in Uganda, and Ugandans every 5 years, they go to polls and elect their leader. That is what Museveni wants to paint on the international stage. But in reality, it is not democracy. In reality, what we have in Uganda is not elections. There is, in Uganda, I must tell you, comrades, that there is winning an election and there is going to State House. You win an election, but it does not guarantee you that you are going to go to State House. And you winning an election does also not guarantee that you are going to be announced as a winner. So that is not an election. I want to give you an example. For example, in the US, during the presidential elections between Biden and the Donald Trump, we all saw how Donald Trump was so desperate to remain in power. He came up with so many accusations and so many lies, false propaganda, instilling propaganda within his supporters, telling his supporters that the election was rigged. He's not going to allow the outcome of the election. He is not. He even at one point incited his supporters to invade the Capitol Hill in Washington D.C. and they caused a mayhem at the Capitol Hill. It was all his words because he was so desperate to stay in power. You know, he even, for the first time ever, he was the first president, as long as I know, as much as I know, he was the first president that refused to congratulate the incoming president. That is how desperate Donald Trump was to stay in power. But because of the strength of the institutions, because the institutions are so independent, because the democracy is so powerful, there is nothing that Donald Trump could do that would save him. Eventually, the power of the people prevailed. Eventually, the rule of law prevailed. Eventually, the power of democracy prevailed, and Donald Trump had to go. That is what we call an election. So in Uganda, it is not an election. It is, we are not in an election, or we were not in an election. Ours is not an election. Ours is a revolutionary struggle. We are in a revolutionary struggle, comrades. If there is anybody out there that thought that we shall perhaps remove Museveni through an election, I want to tell you, comrade, that you should rethink. Mr. Museveni is not going to go through an election. Mr. Museveni is going to go through people power, through oppressed people coming together and join their hands together and say enough is enough, and drive Museveni out of power, and it forced Museveni out of power. The way it happened in Libya, the way it happened in Sudan, the way it happened in Egypt, the way it happened in Gambia. That is how Mr. Museveni is going to go. Mr. Museveni is prepared to die in power. If Mr. Museveni successfully finishes this term that he has stolen from people, he will make 40 years. And even right now, he has no intentions of even coming out and say, okay, I'm running for my last term. Because if someone is very certain of their departure, at least by now, he would have declared that I'm running for my last term, and after this term, I'm not going to run again. But he's very silent about it. This means that Mr. Museveni is not ready to go anytime soon if we continue hoping that we shall remove him through an election. We are in a revolutionary struggle, comrades. The same way, for example, here in South Africa, where I stay, South Africa is a very good lesson. South Africa has been in a situation where in which we are in today, during the times of apartheid. I must tell you that here during apartheid, blacks were segregated against. Blacks were treated like third-class citizens, but they are the rightful owners of the country. There was whites, and there was coloreds, and then there was blacks. Coloreds are this mixed blood. They have some blood of black, and they also have some white blood. Those are what we call coloreds. So white people used to be at the top, and almost all the nice suburbs in the country were occupied by white people. All good hospitals, good roads, good schools were occupied by white people. So the ones which are not so good, not so bad, those ones were occupied by coloreds. And then blacks were staying in, they call them locations. So they build something like projects. I understand in America they call them projects. They build houses, they're more like hostels. Then they keep black people there. They're not even built nice. So they keep black people there. They take food. They provide food for them there. They were treated like refugees. For a black person to travel from those projects to go to town or to go to a nice suburb, they required a visa. They required a special permission. For example, if you are going to travel from Katanga or from Chisenyi and you want to go to Kololo or you want to go to Nakasero, you required a special permit. And there was a time when that special permit would expire. And if that permit expired while you are still in Nakasero, you would go to jail. So that is how blacks used to be treated. There was no blacks in administration. There was no blacks in good, in nice paying jobs.
Jaja Ibu, Jaja Ibu, you've got a minute, and then we move on to other contributors. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm trying to energize to my fellow comrades here is that what we must understand is that we are in a revolutionary struggle. The difference between a revolutionary, actually, before when I finished the point of South Africa, but it took the coming together of black South Africans. It took the coming together of oppressed people of South Africa to say enough is enough. This is our country. We are the rightful owners of this country, and we cannot continue to be treated like slaves in our own country. And they said no. They came together, the likes of Nelson Mandela, the Robert Sobukwe, the Walter Sisulus, the Governor Mbekis, the Oliver Tambos, and they said, no, enough is enough. Of course, they paid the price. Many of them died, many of them were imprisoned, but eventually they managed to win. And now they have freedom. As I speak right now, I don't see any country, even if it is US, even if it is UK, that has rights and freedom like South Africa. I'm telling you. If there is anybody from South Africa here, will tell you, South Africans enjoy the biggest freedom that you can ever imagine. They even beat police. They can even confront. Someone comes up and blocks the road. They even beat these police officers and soldiers. Even the police is scared of the people. That is the kind of freedom that they have right now. But they could not even imagine before that they will live like this. So what I'm trying to tell you, comrades, is that the difference between an election and a revolutionary struggle does not have a date. It can be quicker, it can be longer, but it all depends on the effort that you put in as oppressed people. It depends on the determination that you put in as oppressed people. It depends on the commitment, the hard work that you put in. So what I want to encourage you, comrades, please let us not lose hope because of what is happening today in Kololo. We know we shall remove Museveni. We know Museveni is going to go. It might be today, it might be tomorrow, it might be next month. This swearing in must not demoralize us, because even the former president of Sudan, Omar el-Bashir, before he was removed the following year, the previous year, he had won an election with 90%, and he was sworn in. But the following year, the people of Sudan came out and rose up, and they said enough is enough, and they got rid of Omar el-Bashir. So Museveni swearing himself in today does not affect us. It should not even demoralize us. Let not everybody discourage you, because we know there are some people that have this discouraging rhetoric that they tell to some of our people. Oh, musajja abalemi temuna kisobola kola musajja huyo amaze okulayira mu biveko and stuff like that. Let nobody demoralize you and think that now it is finished because Museveni has been sworn in. This actually marks the new phase in our struggle of removing Mr. Museveni. We are in a revolutionary struggle. We shall remove Museveni whether today or tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, but we know we shall remove Museveni through a massive people of Uganda coming up massively, through people of Uganda coming out together and say enough is enough. We can push Mr. Museveni even if it is tomorrow. So I want to encourage you, comrades, to keep fighting. I want to encourage you, comrades, wherever you are, to keep on putting in effort, to keep up the determination, to keep the faith, and know that this shall be finished. Museveni is very strong, as you might think, but nothing is stronger than people coming together. Nothing is stronger than power. than committed people, than many people. He's just one individual, of course, with a few of his bandits that are brutalizing the people of Uganda. But we are 45 million people. If we are all determined and say we are committed and say we want to go to the streets, for example, Uganda, we have 45 million people. Out of 45 million people, we need only 1 million people coming to the streets and say enough is enough. I know some people are saying we must hold guns and go to the bush and stuff like that. That is all long story. We don't have time for guns. Where are we going to even to hide? People look at Mr. Museveni because in 1980, Mr. Museveni went to the bush. But by then, Uganda was full of bushes. Right now, where are you going to hide? Where are you going to base and establish your rebellion? You understand? That is a long story. We have 45 million people in Uganda. All we need is to have 1 million people rising up and stage at City Square with our placards, without stones, without sticks, without guns, without any weapon, but only with the placards with the word freedom. 1 million people out of 45 million, we know we can get rid of Mr. Museveni. That is the easiest way and the quickest way. What we need to do is to overcome our fear. We understand the obstacle that has been keeping us from our freedom is this obstacle of fear. We need to overcome our fear eventually. We need to overcome our fear sooner than later. That is the only thing. That's why Museveni is instigating this fear within our people, deploying military on the streets of Kampala, doing this marching, shouting, and saying, and coming up with these incantations to threaten our people. Please let us overcome our fear. Many of us have sacrificed our sorrows. We are holding these demonstrations in the diaspora. Wherever you are, even in the diaspora, please, if there is any demonstration that is taking place in your structure, attend those demonstrations. These demonstrations are working. We are trying to open the eyes of the world so that they can look at Uganda. There are so many ways that we can fight Mr. Museveni. We don't have to fight with him through arms. There are many ways. Because of these demonstrations that we have been doing, the U.S. State Department has come out and placed sanctions on some Ugandan officials. Because of this demonstration that we have been doing, just yesterday, the South African Human Rights Commission requested to have a meeting with us next week about the online the human rights violations in Uganda. It has never happened before. It has never happened. This is the first time that it is happening, that the Human Rights Commission of South Africa is requesting to meet with us so that they can engage with us concerning the violations that are taking place in Uganda. And they are willing to write to the Ugandan government and also put the Ugandan government on notice to stop having these violations. You saw the European Union coming out and condemn these violations of human rights taking place in Uganda, and also some European countries have come out and withheld the funds, funds in terms of donor funding to the government of Mr. Museveni. So please, let us engage in these demonstrations. We are opening the world. Mr. Museveni has been keeping us in the dark. He oppresses us, and he doesn't want the world to know what is taking place. So it is our obligation, especially we in the diaspora, to open the eyes of the world. Right now, we have many media houses reaching out to us. Just yesterday, I was having an interview with one media house in Johannesburg. These media houses, they are reaching out to us. They want to see what is taking place in Uganda. Now their cameras and eyes are on Uganda. It has never happened before. It is because of these demonstrations. It is because of these petitions that we come up with and petition these various offices. We petition these politicians across the world. We petition these celebrities. We petition different people of the globe. That is why you see that the government of Mr. Museveni is actually the picture of the government of Mr. Museveni is worse than ever before. He's even paying people to try and sell Uganda outside the country or on the international stage. He's bringing on these econs, coming up with the false promises of constructing a city in Uganda. You bring in someone that is worth $80 million to establish a project that is worth $3 billion. That is all panic that is within Mr. Museveni. So let us keep pushing. We know that eventually we shall overcome and we shall remove Museveni from power. I have a belief, and you will live to see this day. I know for sure we shall get Museveni out of power. I promise you that, but we need to have commitment. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to fight hard, and we need to soldier on. Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Jaja Ibu. Thank you so much for your passionate words and very strong messages and encouragement and motivation to the people out there. We send our regards to comrades in South Africa who have been doing a fantastic job, and of course all the comrades right across the country. Jaja Ibu, before you leave, I've got a question for you, and it's good to see you very passionate and talking about the power of the people. One of the questions that always gets asked is, how do people overcome the fear in order to go out and protest on the streets, given the fact that the military junta is determined at whatever cost to stop any form of gathering?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. David, about that question. Of course, that is the question that everybody asks themselves. This is it is a technical question, but what I must tell you is that overcoming fear, you know, in Uganda, there is what we call Wonyigirizanye Nyindo, that the more, if you keep on pressing this nose all the time, you keep on pressing your nose, eventually that nose, mucus will come out of your nose. So Mr. Museveni has oppressed us to the limit. Mr. Museveni has oppressed us to the limit, and we come to a point whereby we have to ask ourselves, how long more, what more oppression can we take from this dictator? What more brutality can we take from this dictator? Martin Luther said that freedom is not granted, is not voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressor. For how long? When do we come to a point and say enough is enough? When do we say that we have had enough? Oppression. We have been subjected to enough oppression, and it is time for us to stand up and say enough is enough and get rid of oppression. So I know the fear is within us, but like we always say, if you talk, you die, and if you don't talk, you die. Many of our people have been killed, and some of them we didn't even know them. Forget about the ones that we know. Actually, the people that get killed mostly are the people that don't talk. The people that get killed mostly are the people that we don't even get to know of. The Jaja Ibus of this world, the Segirinyas of this world, the Bobiwines of this world, the Senyonyis of this world, they rarely get killed because they know that everybody knows them. So we know there is a price that will be paid. Freedom does not come on a silver plate. There is a price. Many people have paid the price. Even here in South Africa, as I was telling you, many people died for this freedom of that the people of South Africa are enjoying today, to be able to manifest. Many people lost their lives. Many people were incarcerated. Many people were imprisoned. Many people were tortured. But eventually, they managed to win, and now they're enjoying the freedom. We know that there is fear within our people. We are human beings, of course. Every human being must have a fear. Like, it is normal for someone to fear, but it is abnormal for one to remain afraid forever. It is not abnormal for one to remain to be afraid. Of course, everybody must be afraid. I want comrades to understand this word. It is normal to be afraid, but it is abnormal to remain afraid forever. That is abnormal. To be afraid 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Now we are approaching 40 years and you are still afraid. That is abnormal. So I encourage you, comrades, to come out and raise up. We need to raise up. Many of us will be killed. Many of us will be incarcerated. Many of us will be subject to so many other injustices. But the country shall gain power. The country shall gain peace. The country will be free, and we shall all sit down and say, yeah, we fought. Mr. Museveni risked to go to the bush and fight the Obote government. I hear they started with 27 guns. That was commitment. That was determination. Who starts a rebellion against the government with 27 guns? But it is the belief that they had with themselves. It was the commitment that they had with themselves, and they said, we can do it. And they did it.
Thank you so much.
So if Museveni started this revolution, or whatever rebellion that he started with 27 people, but for us, we are 45 million oppressed people of Uganda. Why can't we do it? We can do it, comrades.
Thank you so much, Jaja Ibu.
Let us overcome the fear.
Yeah.
Let us conquer the fear. Eventually, we shall win.
Thank you. I want to quote for you a quote that I really like with regards to fear from Clement Stone, which says, thinking will not overcome fear, action will. And I think, Jaja Ibu, you nicely summarized the fact that only if we act will we overcome the fear that is in people, that the dictators spent years, decades building in people. Thank you so much, Jaja Ibu. Please feel free to keep with us as we move on and get people to contribute to the session. Really good contribution. Okay, we are just about to go on. Like we said, this is your chance to speak to the people who are on Facebook, to speak to the people who are on Zoom. So if you'd like to speak, if you'd like to have your 5 minutes to speak, please raise your hand and we'll give you the microphone to share with the world what is on your mind. And I just want to remind all of you, we're here every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. UK time, which is 10 p.m. to 12, ignore my phone, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Uganda time. We meet here every Saturday to do exactly the same thing and talk about what's on our minds. And can I also finally ask everyone who is on Telegram, please look for Uganda is Bleeding and subscribe to that channel, because we broadcast out tweets, we broadcast out messages on that channel. So look for Uganda is Bleeding, and the handle on Telegram is @StandUpUganda. Okay, I'd like to hand over the microphone to Chuma. Chuma, are you able to speak to us? Thank you for being patient and listening through. Please, hello, can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you.
Thank you so much. Please introduce yourself, tell us where you're calling in from, and tell us what's on your mind.
I'm called Buganda Ntege Chuma Chayesu, one of the survivors of the General Court Martial. You remember the 30th of December 2020, when we were with Chagulanyi at Kalangala district. We were captured, charged in court martial, but in vain. We had gone for official campaigns. So that is the kind of person who is right now swearing in Uganda. It's so unfortunate. My message today to all viewers and listeners goes to the Secretary General, Mr. Anthony Guterres. Unfortunately, I've been on Zoom and I saw the congratulatory message for Mr. Guterres, Anthony Guterres, to President, the so-called President Museveni, who is imposing himself on Ugandans because they did not elect him. That one I can assure the entire world. Now, I've just written something small. This goes to him, and I would like whoever has his link to link this message to Mr. Guterres and the entire world to understand this. That it's so unfortunate that such a high-profile, respected person holding such an important post in the United Nations congratulates the dictator, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, a non-dictator in the whole world, known for bribery, thuggery, malpractices in the last general elections held on 14th of January 2021. It's so unfortunate. What does it represent? Anthony Guterres, the UN boss, what you've done is regrettable. If you didn't know, you are promoting 5 things. I'll read this and I'm going to be brief. I want my message to be clear. 5 things, Anthony Guterres. I don't know whether you are promoting this on behalf of the United Nations or it is you as a person. But if you've congratulated Museveni, this is what you're promoting. The influx, the influx of refugees and asylum seekers in the Western world, in the Western countries, this including the US, Europe, UK, Canada, Australia, and other countries. So you are promoting the influx because I personally am one of the refugees. I'm not in my country. I'm hiding somewhere. I'm giving burden to the country where I'm hiding. So Guterres, you are promoting the influx. of refugees and asylum seekers worldwide. 2, I said I will be brief. I can go into details of that, but I'll be brief. 2, the suffering of families of those on run. I'm talking of asylum seekers and refugees. Mr. Guterres, Anthony, receive this message. You are promoting, you are making our families cry by congratulating such a person, a dictator, instead of condemning him. Number 3, you are slowing down the economies of these countries of escape, politically and economically. You are slowing down the development of these countries. Why are you congratulating this person who is destabilizing his country politically and economically? I'm an able-bodied person who can work and contribute to the taxes of Uganda, but I'm outside the country. Can you imagine that? How much money is Uganda losing whenever these young girls go to Arabic countries and other countries to seek job there, to contribute to the economies of those countries? Mr. Guterres, just understand what you're promoting. The 4th point is you're making refugees and asylum seekers suffer in the camps where there is insufficiency of basic needs. Indeed, camps are not good places for anyone to stay. So, Mr. Guterres, whenever we are suffering, we don't have lunch, we don't have enough medicine, we are suffering because you are promoting a dictator, you're in bed with a dictator for us to suffer. That is very regrettable. It's bad. You should instead condemn the dictator. You should, I think you should reverse whatever you've congratulated to General Museveni and apologize on behalf of refugees worldwide. My last point, Mr. Guterres, by congratulating the dictator of the kinds of Museveni and others who are still trampling on people's rights in Africa and other parts of the world, you are promoting bad and democratic governance system, which the entire world is condemning. If you're preaching good governance, democracy, and human rights, you don't have the audacity to thank General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni because he's portraying a bad picture of bad leadership. That is regrettable. That is the worst thing. That is the great mistake you've done, Mr. Guterres. So, Mr. Guterres, let this information reach to you wherever you are. I know this Zoom meeting is being recorded. Please tag Mr. Guterres. He understands this. I mean, I'm one of the victims who was implicated in vain. I don't have any military background, but I was charged in the court, general court martial. What did we do? What did we do? My brothers, the Eddie Mutwe, Nubiandi, Dad Magic, Chivumbi, or the Map Media, many of them, 36, are still under the General Court Marshal's orders that they are not being released. What did they do, Mr. Guterres? You should ask Mr. Museveni, why should he continue incarcerating, imprisoning, tormenting, torture our brothers in prison? They should be out, because on the 3rd of January 2021, the day they said that we had 4 bullets and 2 magazines, we were in Masaka Saza prison. We were in their custody. Why should you come and congratulate such satanic, evil man, Mr. Guterres? You are making us cry, most especially with the victims. That congratulations. And this information also goes to the German Vice Chancellor. You are congratulating a wrong person. Leave alone with these African dictators who came of recent. These are people who lie with Museveni in bed. But Mr. Guterres, the German Chancellor, and the European or Western countries, we take you to be more understanding than us Africans. Yes, we understand we are inferior, you are superior, but you should see things in that angle. Take the light, look at Joe Biden. He didn't congratulate the dictator because he has information. Don't pretend as if you don't know anything. You are the master of information. Everything reaches your desk. We've written, the guys in the diaspora have written, have shown all videos. There's nothing you don't know. So what you've done is a great mistake, regrettable, and you're making us all refugees. I'm speaking on behalf of refugees and asylum seekers. You're making us cry all the time. We are missing our families, our children, our wives. We'll find our wives when they are already married by other men. Our children will go back to our countries maybe when things are stable, when our kids cannot even recognize us, just because we are on run for our dear lives. And unfortunately, when you go to the second country, they take you to be a full UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. They prolong the process, and if you tell them that I'm at the neighboring country, my life is at stake, they don't mind. So what kind of, I fail to understand what you're promoting, you guys. You should come out and see things in a different angle. You remember the formation of UN. There was another body, as all you people understand, in 1945, if I can remember. They failed to do their duty effectively. Right now, as UN, you should come out and seriously condemn what Mr. Guterres did, Antonio Guterres, the German Chancellor, and others of the kind. Leave alone with these African dictators and leaders of ours. We know them. They cannot do anything. I mean, they are in Museveni's armpit. I would like to thank our neighbor, the president of Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who has not appeared on this function. You've portrayed a good picture, and we've appreciated. Everyone was looking to see whether Uhuru will go for that function. He has not appeared. But leave alone these other guys who are, they are smelling blood. They are in the armpits of the dictator. Museveni is trying to rule the region. He's talking of this, of stabilizing the entire continent of Africa.
Chuma Chayesu, you've got 30 minutes to complete your submission. Thank you so much.
I don't have 30 minutes.
Sorry, 30 seconds.
Okay, yes, 30 seconds. So, Mr. Guterres, Anton, you should come out and apologize. And to all those in the basket, especially the recent victims, the Ugandans on run. It is very regrettable. We expect a statement from you regretting whatever congratulatory message you sent to General Museveni. How do you congratulate a dictator who charges civilians in the general court martial without any military background? It's very regrettable. Museveni does, I don't, Banange, we should change. I thank everyone on this Zoom. I've been on this Zoom from morning. I've heard your contribution. Thank you so much, you guys. And I will always portray our anger on such media, whatever platforms. Thank you so much. Uganda and Tege Chuma Chayesu is my name.
Thank you so much, Chuma Chayesu. Thank you for your passionate plea and emotional outcry and deploring the acts of the hypocritic partners that we're working with. It's quite clear that the exposing of the hypocrites continues right from Uganda. It's flowing out to the international bodies, the international organizations, and the Western partners. We need to be able to stand for ourselves. Like someone said, I think it was Afro-Belina who said, until Ugandans stand up for themselves, the West will not move. They will always protect their interests, and their interests are protected by systems and regimes that are entrenched. And 35 years means there's such big entrenched systems for channeling and siphoning out our resources, our money, our labor to the advantage of the West. So Ugandans, please take heed. please take heed. And I think the question around action, like we were talking about, may not necessarily mean going out onto the streets, but start thinking about how you spend your money. There's been talk about economic boycotts. Start thinking consciously about why you're going to fuel from a Total petrol station, for example. Why you in the diaspora are flying back to Uganda and you're booking an air ticket with Uganda Airlines. These are all institutions that fund the regime. So we need to start thinking about how you spend your shilling, your dollar, your pound as you voting for the system. And once we start to systematically dismantle these economic lifelines and streams that the regime has, we certainly will start seeing the regime crumble in front of our faces. But we have to be consistent. Thank you so much, Chuma Chayasu. I think we have a few more people to speak. And I think we have comrades who are gathering in London for a protest. Dorcas, if you can hear me. Dorcas, if you can hear me, please could you unmute yourself and join us from Trafalgar Square, where our comrades are joining in a street protest. Dorcas, if you can hear me, I hope you can. Please, could you unmute yourself? Okay, I don't think we can get Dorcas yet. Okay, let's proceed with the hands. We have quite a few people who have raised their hands. I'll just try and make sure we go through people who haven't yet spoken. Cecilia, I've seen your post on the chat, so let's give you the chance to speak what's on your mind. Please, can you hear me, Cecilia?
Yes, I can. Thank you for the opportunity. I don't want to speak much. I just wanted to just to let you know that I've sent some messages in the chat. That is all.
Oh, I see. Yes, yes. I've seen the messages. Thank you for engaging and thank you for participating. There's an email address that has been addressed to you. Tazita sent you an email address, ugandaisbleeding@gmail.com. We are interested in people who are looking at things and organizations we can target under the slogan, Ditch the Dictator. So please, if you could just look up the chat, there's an email address that we would like you to get in touch with the organizers of this event. So that we can carry on some of the interventions that we're looking to achieve. Thank you so much, Cecilia, for your very valid contribution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Engineer Nyanzi in South Africa, you've been patiently waiting for your turn to speak. Here's your chance to speak. Please, could you unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the people who are on Zoom and on Facebook and share with us what's on your mind.
First of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been there ever since this started, right from the ground of Dr. Kizza Besigye. Members, I want you to remind you of two things. First of all, I will apologize to whoever I'm going to annoy, because I know always I don't talk what people want to hear, especially in their ears, but I talk to what someone who can think twice may wish to hear. Number one, prior to elections, Dr. Kizza Besigye once said that the biggest mistake Bobiwine will ever make is to think that he will go into election to win the election and to be sewn in by the regime of Museveni and others. Members, my colleague from Jaja Ibu has differentiated the two, that there is a difference between election and a revolution. Let us ask ourselves, of the two, what has been taking place in Uganda? Members, you will agree with me that ever since we've been in Uganda, the actions that are being done by the regime shows that we are in a revolution. Because all atrocities, people have been killed. Today morning, we are seeing a boy who is training, is a counselor, LOC3 counselor. He was abducted yesterday evening, Today in the morning, they have met his body when he's already killed. So the action that are being done by the regime of Museveni shows that we are in a struggle or a revolution. But if we come to our side who are in opposition, members will agree with me that the actions that we've undertaken as far as opposition is concerned, none of our activities shows that we are in a struggle. We are rather participating in an election. An election is a field where the two parties, you have to agree on the terms and conditions. Ever since the election process started, opposition candidates, they have been agreeing on everything that has been taking place. Finally, even up to on the swearing in part of the president, to an extent that opposition candidates, they have accepted. What does this mean? In a struggle is accompanied or curtailed by activities that can show that this is a struggle. Let us transfer our brain and mind to other countries where we have witnessed election, and at the same time others we have witnessed a struggle. There are two things that always confuse our brain. Elections and the struggle are mutually exclusive. However much, to a certain extent, the two can take place, but they are mutually exclusive. As far as what we call a struggle is failing to agree on certain terms and conditions. Members, we shall agree that as far as we started the process of election, we have been agreeing on these things. Some few members have been always coming up and giving ideas that no, we wouldn't have gone to this step. We wouldn't have accepted the election. But others have been insisting, let us do this. Let us accept this. Let us accept this. Let us take an example in countries where struggle or revolutions have been undertaken. You go to Congo. What did they do for their revolution? Before they came up to a consensus of carrying out elections. These are people who rejected their president to be on a ballot paper. These are people who rejected their president from extending election days. Whenever election could come close, you could say, no, we have postponed the elections for 2 years. Not let alone those people said, no, enough is enough. We are saying no to this. They reached an extent, they said, no, we are going for election, but we don't want you on the ballot paper. Those are the actions of a revolution. However, I'm thankful to the actions that are being taken by Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi as far as currently. He is trying to engage in other political parties. However, some still are criticizing and blaming that why didn't he take an initiative before election to see that he engages these people? Members, allow me to tell you that if we are to move on with what is called a struggle, there are some activities that are supposed to be undertaken. We need to see a movement based on religious leaders. We need to see a movement that is inclusive of cultural leaders. There is no a revolution where you can't see any of those people being in such a revolution. Nobody can give me an example in Uganda where we've seen cultural leaders undertaking part in this revolution that we are calling.
Sorry, Engineer Nyanzi, you've got 30 seconds left. Thank you so much. Hello, you've got 30 seconds left. Have we lost you?
Members, allow me to ask you some things to take on in case we are to have what we call a revolution. We need to see a movement where everyone is engaging himself. I urge you members, wherever you are, any activity that comes on, please try to engage in. Any activity here, as far as the struggle is concerned, let us try to engage in. And allow me to advise and also caution our leaders that we have. We have information that even inclusive of NUP leaders under MP levels, some of them are discouraging people from participating in what we call peaceful demonstrations. It is too embarrassing that we have such leaders and we are calling them to be leaders in the revolution. It is too embarrassing. And allow me to say that in case time comes a lion to eat grass, we shall eat MPs under no hardship. I'm telling you the fact. We shall not accept such nonsense to be leading us and disguising us, discouraging our members on the ground. Enough is enough. Let us leave these things. They are there. And the moment we start showing those people, we shall not leave them like that. We shall not leave them to fool our people like that. People die, people are losing lives, and these are things others are taking for granted. No NUP member, if I can ask anyone to get me any video of any new NUP elected MP condemning acts ever since the election is stopped, you can't see them. You can't see them on any media. I don't know where these people now are hiding. Ever since they won, you can't see them anywhere. We don't know. Did their struggle come to an end, or they were for them after chasing something, that after they got that something, now everything is okay to the entire Ugandan community, which is not the case. We shall die trying.
Engineer Nyanzi, thank you so much. Just conscious of time, you raised very valid points around understanding the difference between an election struggle and a revolution, and of course calling on the question of leadership culturally and religiously, which people have mentioned before. I think the key point you're talking about is unity and action of the people, collective action in driving forward change, which will probably result in a revolution. But like someone says, I think you or someone earlier said, a revolution doesn't have a date. It's not a set piece. And so action at every level and involvement at every level is crucial. Thank you so much, Engineer Nyanzi, for joining us, and send our regards to comrades in South Africa for the work they're doing to the struggle. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we have your comer. Please unmute yourself. And this is your chance to speak to the people on Zoom. We'll be listening quite attentively to what you have to say. You've got 5 minutes, and once you're done, you'll get 30 seconds to the end of your presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Hi, yes, could you please speak up a bit louder so that we can hear you? I can hear you, but ever so faint.
Okay.
Thank you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're joining us from. We're on the tail end of this protest today, so thank you first of all for participating, and everyone else who has joined us. Tell us where you're joined in from and share with us what's on your mind for the next 5 minutes, and you'll get the 30-second reminder. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm called Kamayonza Constance. I come from Mitoma district, Western Uganda. I'm a former candidate for woman MP, Mitoma district. But as Chumachaya said, that we are refugees in our country, I also left the country, I think, a month back, because I was attacked, I was traumatized, I was strangled, I almost lost my life in this struggle. So I had to leave the country, and I'm looking forward to meet the team in the UAE to catch up with them, and we see the way forward. Otherwise, today was a very cold day for me, waking up knowing that the president who is swearing in is not the one you voted for. It is a very hard day for us in the struggle, but I think it's only God who is going to see us through all this, because it is a trying moment, I can call it. But thanks for all efforts you put in to see our country change. And I am here to tell you that we are not giving up. I am strong, however much I was down, however much I passed through a lot. I give it all, and I will stand on my legs to see my country change, to see my president swear in at any time. I'm so hopeful, waiting to hear from this team of UAE. I'm trying so hard to connect with them at any time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I must say, first of all, thank you for the contribution to the struggle. And I can only register my thoughts with you for what you've been through. No one should leave their country not out of choice, but as the result of their conviction. And for you, some of us left the country because we went looking for greener pastures. But that was our choice, and to be forced out of your country is just an absolute shame. So I can only register my heartfelt feelings for you. The comrades from UAE have been here. They've been very involved. Farouk and a number of other NUP members from UAE have been involved. If you'd like to get in touch with them, please contact us on ugandaisbleeding@gmail.com and we'll link you straight through to them. But yes, the only way, someone said, once you join the struggle, you have to see it right through to the very end. Otherwise, you get charged for treason or you become treasonous. So those of us who have made the decision to join the struggle, you have to look at it from a lifetime commitment, regardless of how long it takes. So thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you're able to connect with the team in the UAE. Okay, I think we have hopefully Dorcas available, who will be able to give us a word from one of the organizers of the event in London. Dorcas, are you available? Dorcas, if you're available, please could you unmute yourself?
Hi, David, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, yes, and we can see you. Fantastic.
So are you okay with the Facebook? Sorry, with the Zoom, should I do? Sorry, did you want us to be on Facebook, or are you okay with us on Zoom?
Do you want to be on Facebook? We're streaming live on Facebook.
Okay. Sorry, I have got Comrade Kato, who is ready to speak and address Uganda.
Fantastic.
Yeah? So,
are you able to turn on your camera?
Yes. Just a minute, please.
So Dorcas and comrades are gathering at Trafalgar Square in Uganda House. So good to see you, Dorcas, and Comrade Kato. Please, the microphone is over to you. Please, could you speak to the people who are on Zoom and on Facebook? You don't need the megaphone.
Okay. Yeah, so we are here at Uganda House. We're actually protesting the illegal swearing in of Museveni. Everybody knows the legitimate winner of the elections 2021 was Mr. Chagulanyi, and Mr. Museveni has just gone ahead and rigged and decided to even have a ball today. He's spending 7 billion shillings of Uganda's taxpayers' money plus other more money that we are not aware of. People are funding him, they're aiding him, and he's still seated in there comfortably terrorizing our people. And today is really the worst day that he decides to continue robbing and plundering our country. We say no, enough is enough. So we are here with some comrades at the Uganda House. I don't know if you can see, that's Uganda House, UK, Trafalgar Square, London. Yeah, so people are protesting against this illegal dictatorship. Yeah, so my colleague Kato is here.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to have a word?
Okay.
This is you're live at Uganda is
We are live at the Uganda House. We are here today.
I don't know what to call it.
We are here today as to denounce and reject the dictator Museveni for having rigged the elections. And we are here to announce and to denounce and reject again the dictator that he is not the president of Uganda. The president of Uganda is Honorable Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, who was democratically elected on the 14th of January 2021. And we are here with all Ugandans to show our solidarity with our leader, that is the leader who should be the president swearing today. Museveni today has spent over 7 billion of our tax just for swearing ceremonies. We are here to show that we are in solidarity with our people in Uganda that Museveni, he rigged the elections. Museveni is not the president of Uganda, and the president of Uganda is Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. We are here to denounce Museveni, the killing of Ugandans, the torturing of Ugandans, the kidnapping of Ugandans, because yesterday they kidnapped over 2,000 young boys in Kampala alone. And that we are here to show the international community they should stop supporting this brutal dictator, because the money they are sending to Uganda is being used to torture Ugandans. Do you know that in Uganda we've got over 4,000 torture chambers whereby Ugandans are being killed, Ugandans are being tortured, men are being castrated. It's a complete apartheid in Uganda. What is going up in Uganda is apartheid. We used to see this in South Africa, but this is beyond what used to happen in South Africa. So we are here, the Uganda embassy, to denounce and to reject the dictator. He's not our president, and he will never be our president.
Enough
Thank you very
is
much.
enough.
Enough is enough. Museveni must go.
Enough is enough. Museveni must go.
Museveni must go.
Yes, David, we're saying Museveni must go, and we've had enough. Museveni must go. Museveni must go. Yes, David, I'll have to come back later to you. I have got some, I don't know if you can see the posters.
Our president is Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu.
Are you able to see that?
Yes, we can see them. Thank you so much, Dorcas, and thank you to Comrade Kato for all the work you're doing and representing us on the streets in front of Trafalgar.
Comrade, you're live at Uganda is bleeding.
Yes, Uganda is bleeding, people. We are here shouting and calling out on all people to help.
You're live.
Uganda
Hello, you're live.
is bleeding.
You're live.
People are being killed like goats. Young men are slaughtered every single day. Mothers, I'm a grandmother. Grandmothers, we are crying. Our children are being killed. They're in prison. Imprisoned. Why? Because they are supporting Robert Kyagulanyi. And the whole Uganda, 95%, we voted for Kyagulanyi. Yeah? But the unfairness of it all is the Western world is supporting Museveni. They are bombarding him with dollars. They are training the army. They are training the army to kill people. To kill people when we have no.
I think we've lost Dorcas, but Dorcas is joining us from Uganda House in Trafalgar Square, where a group of Ugandans have gone to show their disgust at the illegitimate regime and the illegal swearing in of the dictator Museveni. I think the message resonates with all we have been saying here, which is how can you spend 7 billion?
We have no hospitals, there's no schools, so what is the point? And remember, people, Museveni.
Okay, Dorcas, we're going to mute you because I think we're losing your sound for now, and we'll get back to you once we've got a better connection. Thank you for that. Okay, just very quickly, apologies, I think the lady thinks she's still speaking, but we'll move on to Karim for now. Dorcas, please, you can turn off your camera. Karim Ntambi, please unmute yourself.
Hi everyone. Hi,
Thank
you
Karim.
so much, David, for staying up late. Thank you so much for the team for doing this. I'm just up. I'm ready. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for standing with Uganda. The only way we can lose this battle is if we decide that we are going to disband. This shows solidarity. This shows that we are still there. This shows that we are still moving on. I would like to encourage everyone that despite the fact that the dictator has illegally sworn himself in today, the struggle doesn't end. It has just begun. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of enemies that are around us. especially in the diaspora. We are fighting billions of Ugandan shillings, millions of dollars that is being channeled through lobby funds to keep rebranding the dictator. I would like to encourage everyone in the diaspora to find offices of Mercury Public Affairs. Those are the people that we need to target. Those are the offices where we need to demonstrate. Museveni just signed a contract with them in April to make sure that they do PR for him between the period of April 22nd to May 21st. So all these newspapers that you're seeing that are painting Museveni as, you know, as somebody who has been doing good for the past 35 years, they're being paid for. So if you're in the UK, you need to find Mercury Public Affairs. That's where, you know, I think the headquarters are. Here in the US, this firm has offices in Washington, DC, in New Jersey, in New York, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in Dallas, in Chicago. If you are in one of those chapters, please make a date, let your people know. We gotta start having protests in those areas. Two, we also have to put notice to our development partners that working with a dictator is unsustainable. Here in the US, we've heard that the IMF intends to give the dictator $900 million for fighting COVID. Remember, in the last year, we received $491 million from IMF, and we received $300 million from the World Bank. We also received $15 million from the State Department, and USAID gave $10 million. All that money was channeled into the campaign. That money was channeled into brutalizing our people. The regime is still using that money to enrich themselves. And on the other hand, it is going to be your children, your grandchildren that are going to be paying that debt. We need to put a stop to this. We need to put notice. We need to hold the dictator accountable. We also have to hold our development partners accountable. We need to continue reaching out. If you are in the UK, if you are in the US, we have been doing this. Pick up the call, pick up the call and call your representatives. Let them know that Uganda is bleeding. Let them know that the dictator is using the money that is being given to vulnerable people to enrich himself and his family. This has to stop, and this has to stop with us. The action has to start with you and me, and it has to start now. The revolution has just started. The road may look a little bit tougher, but if we decide that we are going to stand together, believe me, this will be one. Thank you so much, David. I won't take too much time from the comrades who would like to speak. That has been my pitch for the day. And let us continue the fight. People power, everybody is our power.
Thank you so much, Kareem, and thank you for all the work you're doing. I'd just like to let the people who are tuned in know that if you're looking for drafted content, messages and letters, tweets, Kareem is your person. So Kareem, both you and Joseph, if you could drop your contact details, or at least somewhere, whether it's a group that people can follow or some kind of socials that people can follow so that they can pick up some of these templates that you spend a lot of time drafting to engage our leaders and representatives. If you could drop them in the chat, that would be excellent. Really appreciated. Okay, we're coming to the last 7 minutes of this protest. This was scheduled to run to coincide with the swearing-in ceremony, the legal swearing-in ceremony in Uganda. And so those of you who have been here since for the last nearly 6 hours. We were here in the studios just before 6 a.m. getting ready to stream this across. So we're coming to the last few minutes of this session. So if you still want to say something, we'll give you the chance and then we'll shut down. Billy, I believe you wanted to speak. I've seen you've just logged in. So please, if you could raise your hand so that we can see you if you're still interested in speaking, and we'll give you the chance to speak. Robert Kabuye, Boston. Hello, comrade.
Yes, hello.
Good to see you. Please welcome
to see you, my brother.
Good to see you on this protest. Welcome, and please introduce yourself and have your 5 minutes, please. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, my brother. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I would like to thank everybody who is on this platform for this protest today. And I would like to thank my colleague, Kalim Muntambi. He has raised very powerful points. We should follow that, and we should do that every day. And I would like to thank the people in London. They have done a wonderful job today to protest. It will be in the history on the Uganda House. And with due respect, I ask my brother Karim so we can do the same soon. Now, I had my brother from South Africa. With due respect, this is not a blaming game. Some of us, we have been in the struggle over 20 years. The NUP leadership or NUP party is still young in politics. So we should know that most of the people, they have just learned how politics runs and how dictators are treating Ugandan citizens. So now we have to know that this is a beginning of the struggle. So now they should know how roots can be channeled. All right. So now we have experience how we can go by democratic way, and we have experience how we can go by, again in the constitutional way, demonstrating with the people. So we have to prepare the people now. We have to. I had my brother in South Africa, in Guinea. He was talking about the cultural leaders, but I want to start with him. I think he's coming from Uganda and he has a cultural leader. How many times he reached out to the cultural leaders? This is our job. Everybody, don't be offended. Like Uganda, we have cultural leaders, we have clans. Let us every day reach out with our clan members, clan leaders, and we tell them about revolution. So we have to start now. This is the beginning. So it's like when you catch a thief, when you have no evidence. You see, FBI, CIA, when they catch you, they must be having evidence. Right now, Ugandans, we have evidence. We cannot say that Museveni is killing citizen, poisoning citizen, and somebody say, show me evidence. I think we have all that right now. And I don't think Museveni is gonna last, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months, no. I'm asking everybody to be strong. Let us keep on doing what we do. Let us expose the dictator. Let us treat, let us call members, Ugandans in Uganda, and we prepare them, So that is my points for today, but I would like to thank everybody on the platform. I mean, let us not lose hope. Let us keep the fire burning. Uganda is bleeding, and, it's hard. So that's it, my brother.
Thank you so much, Comrade Kawiye Boston. You're absolutely right. It starts with us, and we should not give up hope. Let's keep on doing everything we can. Thank you so much, and good to see you, as always, and send our regards to our comrades across the other side of the pond.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, before we go to Billy, we'll be with you in a minute. We've had someone who's been raising their hand for a while, albeit physically. Can we get Elaine Hope? Elaine Hope, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I have.
Hello, Elaine. Apologies for the issues, but you now have the microphone. Please welcome. Introduce yourself to the people on Zoom.
Yeah, all protocols held, and I'm speaking from London. I'm a mother and businesswoman and everything, and I'm Ghanaian, but I've been reading everything, and from what I see, the Englishman calls something called lessons learned. And there are some things that we need to learn. For example, one thing I noticed was that I think NUP should have a virtual office. This thing where they physically go and stand there with guns and blah, 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 and everybody's scared and it's scaring everyone. The next minute you have a virtual Zoom, a virtual office, everything is done. You don't care if they drive the whole truck into the office, it's not your cup of tea. Then the next thing too, your presentation. I mean, if you go on Facebook, you get so many rubbish on it. And if you want the diaspora people to help you. You got to come out with people who come with good points. You divert to social local issues about who is this, who's that. And if you go on the NRM thingy, because they have studied and they've deprived you of so many things, you've lost the ability to do your presentation properly. So you got to present, and someone needs to monitor what goes on the thing. I mean, you sit down and R&M people come on your platform to come and put stuff on it and nobody says anything. And these are all the things you need to sit down to do. And when your leader, I love him to bits, when he's coming on, someone should vet what's going to be talked about. And everything has to be done point by point by point, because the way things are going is more of a .com thing. So, so what I'm saying is that, number one, NUP should have a virtual office. Either someone in their garage in London or New York or somewhere, that is what has to be done. So whenever they sweep the whole lives of the street, turn Uganda upside down, nothing changes. So nothing should change it. Nothing should take you by surprise. And I'm not surprised. I think you were very, very rattled. And I think you've done very well. Another thing too, because all the good ones were all put into prison. So I see Bobby sometimes a bit rattled and all over the place. And this is where if you have asked the diaspora people to help you to come in, you type in the right thing, you say the right stuff, the right thing to go on. So you have someone far away who looks at the documents and type the thing, send to him, go on, say this, say that, say this. Not that when he's tired, he's rattling something. So that the English people think we are not serious. Number two, I don't mind you speaking your dialect. It's fine. I am Chi, I'm from Ghana. But sometimes you go on and on and on, and you have had space, you had time, you had video, and you have had airtime. And what you are saying, nobody hears it. So you have, instead of having 1.2 million followers, you have 500 people only listen to it. And these are all the things you need to sit down. Number three, you talk of Twitter, right? Me as a mother, it's just that by chance that because of COVID, so I've learned to do more of IT things. From what I see, the dictators don't let you study. So someone should have put a proper program on how to go on Twitter from top to bottom, how to go on Facebook from top to bottom, how to go on, whether you know it or not, everything should have put in place. And so anytime anything goes wrong, you know, bam, you know where to press your buttons. At this moment, I'm hearing all the things you put on have been cleared off. You should have had a B plan. And these are all the things. So the NRM people, they planned themselves. They are not good, but they were scared. You had the victory in your hands. Everything was in your hands. And sometimes the things, the points you've brought out to tell the diaspora, the English, now that we know that they are there for the economic reasons, they are there for whatever it is, that's why everybody's flowing in cha-cha-cha-cha in there. You have to have your B plan. And this is where we start moving forward. So number one, have a virtual office from that NUP place where they take their trucks and everything to come and scare you. Number two, you need to have a constructive training on Twitter or all the platforms. Show everybody how to do it. So if today you want us to tweet United Nations, you just hashtag UN blah, blah, everybody go on it, bam, then we go on it. Simple. We are not now going to go on all these things. For me, at this age, what you are saying, I don't understand. But the young guys should know. So someone has to come out with a progressive thing. And so if you want the diaspora to help you, you should speak in a correspondence that we understand so that we can help. That's it. I think I've blown my head off.
Elaine, thank you so much. Your feedback is really useful, certainly from someone who is a friend of Uganda and not necessarily understands the language in which the communication.
Very, very well, yeah.
Thank you so much. Really, really useful.
And we'll virtual office, office. Get a virtual office.
So we've picked up virtual office, presentation and messaging, professionalizing that, and obviously use of the language. Thank you so much.
And when Bobby comes on the speech, someone in diaspora should vet the thing before he comes on, because he's tired. Can you imagine everybody around you has died and you are sitting down writing notes? It's not possible.
Absolutely.
Someone should look on it and let's hear everything. That his presentation is everything. There are some places you can dress in a mosque dress. There are some places you need to put your tie on and look like them. So you have to have all those things in place. And when you get there, they take you serious. Now Boris Johnson is saying something different now.
Fantastic, Elaine. Thanks for joining us. Remember, we're here every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. standing in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Uganda, and would love to have people like you joining us and sharing your thoughts on a weekly basis. Okay, we are over our time, but I will give the last two people a few minutes to speak, and then we will end this online protest. So Billy Ekstrom, please could you unmute yourself?
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Welcome to this protest, Billy, and thank you for hanging in there and coming back to make your pitch. It would be good to hear what you have to say. Please introduce yourself, tell us where you're joining in from, and share with the world what's on your mind for the next 5 minutes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I call Chinto Ekström. I'm from Sweden. I'm the one who's starting the page People Power Sweden. Try to done the most things we can do, You know, most of the people, they know my English is not the best, but some people, they understand what I want to come to. But I want to say, good job, all Ugandans in this NUP. We did a good job. Many people suffered, many people died. And I want to say rest in peace for these people has died. And I'm so sorry for their families, for their family members, their friends and everything. I'm so sorry. But continue, and we will do this thing. And we know Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu won this election. I don't have so many words to say because I was not prepared, but big up yourself, and one day we are going to get the freedom. And yeah, that was like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Billy. It's always good to have friends of Uganda who are passionate about what's happening in Uganda. Please keep spreading the word and letting your friends and comrades know that we're not giving up. We are continuing with the struggle. Thank you so much. Okay, one last person before we summarize and call it a day. Tusubira Fred, you have the microphone.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello, please could you introduce yourself, tell us where you're calling from, and share with us what's on your mind for the last 5 minutes.
I'm calling from Dubai. My name is Joshua Fred, and I'm a Ugandan by now. I want to thank every Ugandan who has done a part. You know, Martin Luther said that at the end, we shall not blame those people who torture us, who kill us, but we shall blame those who keep quiet and see the things happening, yet they see them. I want to thank everyone who has raised his voice to speak to what is happening to Uganda. This is a process. We woke up one day and we say we want to remove this person. But we didn't say that we are going to move him tomorrow or today. It's a process, and I know that we have gone a percentage. If we are around like 60%, and we know that this person is going to fall, we are sure for that. So let everyone rise up. What I can advise, there are most people who say that the Ugandan must rise who are underground, but I can assure you, every moment these people pull out their heads to the street, they are killed, they are abducted. So they create fear in them. What we have to do now, we who are not in Uganda, who are outside, we can use this chance every day, every hour, so that we put this European Union, we put these Netherlands departments, those who are surrounding this person, so that we can raise our voice. Every day we must not stop. Every day we must raise a voice. I know these people will hear us, and when we raise our voices, these people may put sanctions. Let everything that happens from Uganda, the abduction, the killings, be put on camera. Because those people in Uganda cannot rise up. I know that because this guy has a lot of everything. He has guns, he has power, all the institutions are in his hand. No institution that is independent in Uganda, from the bank to the LOC chairman, the LOC one. Meaning, even if our people in Uganda rise up, go on the street, it will not help Uganda to be liberated. If that one fails, then it is we who are outside to raise up our voices. Let us not stop raising our voices. If we cannot be on the ground At least we can raise finances to help those who are tortured, but we are keeping on raising the voices to blame those people who are standing, who are supporting, who are giving funds like the World Bank, the EU, that are speaking, congratulating this Museveni to stop. Once we talk, all of us, every country, every outside country, Netherlands, Europe, German, UK, everyone, we must rise up. South Africa, we have seen a lot of people doing it. Please let us continue. It's not yet over. Even though he swears in, we have seen a lot of people swearing in, and they fall. So this is just another step that we have to take. Okay, let us not lose hope. We're starting today, and we shall finish it by God's grace. Let us encourage everybody. I know most people have lost hope, most especially those in Uganda, but I pray that we just open our eyes. At least we are now, our eyes are open. We see everything. Everything is on camera. Everything is seen. Before we didn't see these things, but now you can see everywhere. Everything is done in broad daylight. So this is the only way we can fight these people. Let everyone use every means. The president said, if you cannot run, at least walk. If you cannot walk, at least crawl. If you cannot crawl, at least jump. Please, we can use every means. If you're not on the ground, we can use the Twitter. Our friend from Ghana said, let us use Twitter. We go to UN, we go to EU, every department that is standing, even the World Bank, we post every kind of abduction, every kind of killings. We are going to put this person down. Once they raise the sanctions, these people will be no more. This is how dictators fall, raising up sanctions on them, but we must also be part of that. Please, let us rise up. And we thank every person that is not in any Uganda, outside, that is standing with Ugandan, so that life comes back. We liberate Uganda, and we have a better future. Thank you for comrades. Thank you once again, the UAE chapter. Please, we are standing together. Let everyone speak. Let no one keep quiet. Sometimes people, they say, no matter, it doesn't concern me. It will concern you when it is on your door. That's when you rise up, and it will be late for you to protect yourself. So let us rise up. It is for everybody. You may think it is for me today, but tomorrow it is you. And we shall laugh together, we shall cry together. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Tusubira. That was such a fitting presentation, submission to...
You're welcome. And let's continue praying, please. Prayer breaks everything.
Thank you so much.
Prayer breaks everything. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tusubira. Okay, that was such a fitting submission to end our 6.5 hours of protests. I'd like to thank all of you who've taken the time to join us today. There's been a lot of messages and a lot of thoughts, and lots has been shared by all the people who have spoken. We've had over 100 people speaking during the course of the last 6 hours, each very passionate about what's happening back home in Uganda. So if there's anything you can take away, remember you're not alone. You've got a team, you've got a network of people who believe just as much in a better Uganda as you do. So do not ever think that you're alone. A couple of things that I just want to play back to you from what we've picked up during the course of the day. The first thing is, remember to celebrate your successes. Let's celebrate our successes, but also remember our strengths. I have never seen a diaspora or an opposition group of people who are as unified as we are and who are as committed to seeing a new Uganda. That is one of the strengths that no one can take away from us. The diaspora works tirelessly, especially those of you who are in the diaspora, tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that things are happening back home in Uganda, be it financially or moral support of our comrades back home in Uganda. And of course, the successes of a party that is barely a year old, getting 60 plus seats in parliament, a president who has been in active politics for less than 5 years, getting elected by the majority. These are key successes. Let's not forget our successes. Remember, you should stand tall and you should stand proud for what you've achieved and what your effort has driven. We said it starts with you. Everything you do and anything you say is a reflection of the state of the struggle. So if in your mind you believe it's a wasted journey, it's a wasted struggle, then your energy and efforts will start to reflect such wise. What we're saying is, remember that with you, start believing that the change can happen and the struggle is only just beginning. This is just a milestone in a journey, a long journey. We don't know how long it will take, but as long as you commit yourself to seeing the end result, however long it takes, once that result is achieved, you would have achieved your goal. So remember, it starts with you, and start thinking about what you can continue doing. This struggle is not over. And if anything, the representation here and the people following on Facebook are anything but. We are a very innovative, resourceful opposition, and we are going to do everything we can to catch the regime off guard to ensure that the voice of the people of Uganda is heard. Remember action. Andrew shared the action, 6 points of action. Those are things like acting now, confidence, make sure you're trainable, learn new skills, learn what you can do to help the struggle. Always present yourself and offer yourself to the struggle. We need people, we need graphic designers, we need motion capture, video editors, we need people who can craft documentation, people who can craft tweets. Your resources are needed everywhere, so please get in touch if you're involved. Always use your intuition, remember to be organized, and never ever give up. So those are the action things. For the people back home in Uganda, you may not be able to go out and protest on the streets, but capture those images, capture those recordings. We need them. The people who are lobbying, the people in the Senate, the people in the United Kingdom need that evidence. So keep capturing. You may not even, sometimes I see people complaining, why aren't people stopping abductions, and instead you're covering them with cameras, because we know what will happen if you try and intervene. But get us that footage and we will do the rest. And remember, if you're not yet on Twitter or any of the social handles, please get on and start tweeting. 5 tweets a day can keep the dictator away. Fourth thing is, don't give up hope. If there's only one thing that should keep us through this struggle, is the hope that you're standing for what's true, for what's just, and for what's right. So don't ever give up hope, because not only are you letting yourself down, but you're letting your generations down the line down. So think about where we are, how far we've come, and remember, do not give up hope. And keep the fire burning. Keep the fire burning means always make sure you have the struggle at the forefront of your conversations, especially you guys who are in the diaspora. Keep speaking, keep engaging to your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues. Let them know what's happening back home in Uganda. Hopefully we'll get information from Karim and the crew who will provide us with templates. If you need templates to write to your representatives, we have letters that all you need to do is just change the signature and you can send them off. We've got people sending letters to MPs, to senators. Keep engaging, keep that message going, and keep the fire burning. For one thing, once the people stand for a committed cause, they can never fail to achieve success. Okay, we're well past our closing time. I'm going to give you the chance all to unmute yourself as we stand up in respect for 1 minute. I'd like you all, you'll be all unmuted, but I'd like you to honor our colleagues who have sadly passed on as part of this struggle. We want them to remember that we will never ever forget them. And then after that 1 minute of silence, we will proceed with the national anthem and the NUP anthem. So please, all of you are unmuted. So please, let's show some respect. Stand up for 1 minute of silence for our comrades who have passed away. So let's keep that nice and quiet for 1 minute. 1 minute starts now. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, you now get the chance. Sorry, I forgot to unmute you guys. Please unmute yourself and join us for the national anthem. Please sing at the tops of your voices and feel free to chant and sing along as we sing the national anthem.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hand. United, free for liberty, together we'll always stand.
People power. People power. Our power. Must. Museveni must go.
Museveni must go.
Museveni must go. President.
Congratulations to His Excellency Robert.
Congratulations, His Excellency Congratulations, Bobiwine.
Must fall. Yeah.
Congratulations, His Excellency
We're just showing you a little trailer of a clip that that talks about Museveni's brutality. But I'd like to remind all of you that every Saturday you can join us from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Uganda time, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. UK time, and we will be here. Thank you so much.
People give estimates about how many people He exterminated or assassinated political opposition. Museveni's done more, but nobody associates Museveni with atrocities.
Museveni managed to impress the Western world. They didn't know that he was actually a wolf in a sheep's skin.
Museveni's become the master and divide and rule. He knows how to set one ethnic group against the other to his own advantage and for his benefit.
Museveni's army was moving from village to village. If they were not burning houses, then they're shooting people down. If they are not shooting people down, they are destroying crops.
Government soldiers would actually perpetrate these atrocities and then make it appear as if the LRA had committed those crimes.
And rape is being used as a weapon of war. A lot of women who have been raped cannot tell their story because nobody is going to believe them.
Men were being raped for the first time.
In front of their families, in front of their children, and in front of their wives.
Those of us who come from northern Uganda know what it means to be dehumanized, to be reduced to nothingness.
Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch have documented these atrocities. Yet, Museveni is untouchable.
Shocking thing is that the government was able to forcibly displace them, then not provide food, shelter, medicine, or protection.
They were taken to these concentration camps in order to be destroyed.
At its peak, 1,000 people every week were dying because of the conditions in the camp.
Museveni and his key commanders who committed atrocities, crimes of war, crimes against humanity, should be investigated, should be indicted. To date, nothing has happened.
We must not let the world forget. We must keep on telling the stories. We must keep the memory of suffering alive.
No food, no hydration, sexual violence from the soldiers who were meant to protect them. That's why this was a brilliant genocide, a silent genocide, perfect crime.